The Vegas Circle podcast is brought to you by RAC Financial. They help new and established businesses with simple, secure, and reliable payment processing. RAC's credit card merchant processing services are unmatched. Visit racfinancial.com today and mention Vegas Circle Podcast.
Welcome to Vegas Circle with Paki and Chris, the show for people who are passionate about business, success, and culture, showcasing the stories of people in the city that made it happen. On today's podcast, we are going to discuss building a successful mobile business with the co-founders of Vegas IV. We've got Mr. Christian Bishop and Mr. Connor Matty. So welcome to Circle, brothers.
Welcome.
Hey guys,
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, so we had to track you guys down, man. You were asking when we first talked on the phone, man, how we found you guys, man. You guys are moving and shaking, man, with your brand and everything that you guys are doing in Vegas. But what we kind of want to first start off with is, how did you guys connect to build Vegas IV?
I was going to pass it to you.
All right. Look, it started off initially going through my MBA program at UNLV. So when the pandemic started, I was like, look, this is an opportunity to get better. Let's get back to it. A lot of people are sitting around, but now we got some more time in our days. So let's go back and invest, get the education ramped up a bit. Let's start some businesses. Met a few doctors from that MBA program, came together and started to get things rolling, and had a conversation with a good buddy out in LA, Justin, and he told me about Connor, and because I told him about some of our pain points and things we needed, and we got introduced, and we got to meet, and it's a perfect fit. And he came and joined our partnership team.
So did you already have this business idea prior to meeting, and you kind of pitched it together and started developing it together, or was it something
I was the reluctant one, which was funny. I was reluctant. I looked into some of the casinos on the Strip and how many IV companies over here, and I was like, man, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people that are doing this already. Some of the casinos are against medical procedures being done there. I'm like, man, I don't think we can do this. And Christian's like, no, we can just outwork everybody. We can outwork everybody. No one's gonna outwork us. And I was like, okay, let's outwork everybody.
Yeah. Jumping into a little bit about what Vegas IV is, can you kind of share a little bit what you guys do and what your brand kind of represents?
It's a health and wellness company, first off, one.
Okay.
So one of the things that we're passionate about is preventative medicine and accountability, right? I think we all can do a better job taking a bit more accountability for our health and wellness, whether or not that's in the gym, taking care of ourselves.
I hear that.
A step, hey, let's go, Chris. And then it's a step in the right direction, I think, around preventative medicine, right? Too many things are reactive. Insurance will pay for something. I'm sure we've all seen it. Doctors are like, hey, sorry, we can't do that x-ray. We can't do this or that because you don't have a condition or a symptom that's aligned with that. So we started seeing the opportunity around hydration. Most people are hydrated. It's Vegas. People are having a great time. Even residences are dehydrated. I got them regularly myself. And was like, this is a great place to start from a service offering standpoint to building relationships with patients. And that's just the beginning, right? So now you see us turning other services online, blood work, other lab results, getting into other things around weight loss, how we can assist people, vaccines, STD tests, pregnancy checks, telemedicine care. Doctors will show up to your house if you need some assistance as well. But it started with IVs, and that was the first entry point.
Well, and to answer your question about the hangover thing, we had noticed that in the market that this was like, hey, is this like a hangover town? Is this only a hangover product?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then in our ownership team, we brought on a bunch of athletes. We wanted to do something different. Mm-hmm. So we brought on Austin Ekeler on the Los Angeles Chargers, Demetrious Johnson from the MMA world champion, Derek Engelland from the Golden Knights, and our current goalie of the Golden Knights, which is Logan Thompson.
Okay.
So we wanted to take this procedure of Christian's talking about preventative is hey, don't call us when you're sick. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you doing this regularly? Why do you have to do this once you're already sick, once you're already hungover? Why can't you do this pregame? Why can't you do this on a regular basis and avoid getting sick?
Yeah.
And I think that's a direction that we tried to go, since then, partnering up with different gyms. I think trying to hit a different demographic of not just the hungover person in their hotel room, but that we're providing a high-end medical service to your door, which is our lifestyle. We Postmates our food. We get our groceries delivered to our front door. We didn't want to go the brick and mortar route. We wanted to bring this to consumers. So
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you think, to your point, I feel like that's everything I've seen. When I first heard about it, I thought that's what it was. I get hungover, I'm dehydrated, I call you guys, you come and fix me up.
Yeah.
But it makes perfect sense. But with it being so prevalent in the market as that is kind of the business dynamic, how hard is it to educate people on that alternative solution of preventative? I feel like that'd be the biggest barrier.
It's the number one hurdle.
Yeah.
That's the number one hurdle.
100%.
Yeah, but it's also the opportunity, right? As we know in business, those hurdles are opportunities, the people that can crack it and figure it out. So that education is a clear marketing opportunity, right? Is what can we do to get the message out there, to let people know what's available, and then back it with data science and research, just 'cause there's not a lot of documentation. Talked about our athletes partnerships, working with UNLV. We're exclusive for lifetime, throughout Vegas. So you'll go to those, they're with us, other gyms, hotels and whatnot coming on board now too. So I think as we get the legit B2B partnerships established, that's an opportunity to educate more folks too, where they love to go.
You first start off in Las Vegas, and now you've moved into the Scottsdale market, and we're talking about some other cities and states that can be coming in. What made you guys choose Las Vegas? Because I love the name Vegas IV.
Catchy, right?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
What made you guys choose Vegas, though?
I mean, we were kind of talking about this before we all jumped on, other markets being maybe a little bit more cutthroat, and we wanted to kind of get our bearings in Las Vegas. Right? I guess we kind of looked at it as like, this is a town that parties and uses this. This is active at all the casinos already, whether you know about it or you don't know about it. And we talked about in the beginning, the IVs have been around for a long time, but why isn't everyone doing them on a regular basis?
Yeah. So the truth that also backed when we were here, right? So we live here. So we're Vegas based. So it's important. But two, the data's there. So in terms of Google data and trends and whatnot, this is the highest market by far in terms of
it's the highest hangover search on Google is Las Vegas.
Yeah, because it's so hot. You would think there's dehydration. I'm curious if you've seen like the dehydration numbers of Vegas. I would assume it's through the roof.
Then you throw the weather in on top of it.
Being so dry.
And you talk about like, I don't know, I can't live here without chapstick. You can't live here without water softener.
Yep.
It's just a crazy city. Like the wind that's going on outside right now is nuts. And you need the hydration for sure.
Yeah, it's a thing for sure. So the data also backed it up. Plus we're based here. So
and you guys connected with and I apologize, I don't want to demolish his name, but Dr. Scott, is it
Scherr?
Scherr. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's actually the medical director that works with you guys and kind of the CMO of the whole kind of business plan? Or?
Yeah.
But we say CMO, he's the chief medical officer. Yeah, not from a marketing sense, but yes, he oversees our entire medical team. So we separate the business in two distinct ways. Anything medical, it rolls up to him. But from the business point of view, which is what we run, we separate decision making. So anything medical comes down to him. He has to sign off in his process and his team of doctors. So every market, we have a medical director that reports up to him. So whether or not it's a new process, for example, they decide to say anybody over 65 has to have you go through a special process with the nurses before we administer care, right? They want to make sure they're checking their pulse, make sure their vitals, just because you're given an IV, kidney function and whatnot, they want to make sure things are okay, that they're prepared. They put that process in place, and we respect that. So his team, Dr. Scherr, they run that, and we have a clear distinction and line of separation there. But he's a superstar. We call him a hero internally.
Because he was part of October 1st, if I remember correctly, right? He was the whole...
saved a lot of people. Saved a lot of people, and we weren't here for that. But that shook the whole world, shook the whole United States, and we saw that happen. And to be with someone on our team that was so close to that, and this is a tight-knit town. And we feel like Vegas locals now. Like I really feel like I'm a part of this city now. I don't know, I think we could both say that. And being with someone like him, it's a statement for sure. And I love that he gives that extra, that medical-esque that we're looking for, because Christian and I are both business guys. And he sometimes will tell us, hey, we got to pump the brakes on this. Like we need to provide this level of care when we want to like try to cut margins or do something like that on a business front. He's always there to like make sure that we're doing things properly from a medical standpoint, which is really respectable, because there's some people that maybe try to cut those corners on a medical standpoint in a business like this. And it's nice having him around. For sure. And everything, it's if he doesn't give it the thumbs up, we're not doing it. So
from that perspective, when you're trying to bring all of these people in, right, and also having him mobile, do you have to be like a registered nurse to be able to implement an IV or a doctor? And doing that mobile, does that create a lot of challenges to create this mobile team essentially of these highly qualified, I'm assuming paid individuals, to go to different locations to be able to implement that care?
Yeah, Chris, when you talked about hurdles before, and we talked about that earlier, that's one of them. Again, opportunity though. So we're developing and building technology to support that experience for dispatch, creating an Uber style marketplace, connecting medical professionals with patients directly, like you've seen with cars, right, and and passengers. So we're building that tech to support that process, but we've got 40 RNs, nurses here, in the Valley alone, here in Vegas. Vegas that are on our roster supporting people every day. So their homes, their offices, gyms, hotel rooms. But yeah, they're top tier and they're highly paid, trained. They make their bread. So.
That's awesome.
But Dr. Scott having to make that client-patient relationship is something that not other companies sometimes do. I think it's important. Nevada Board of Pharmacy is very, very intense with their restrictions and their guidelines and stuff like that. We cross all those T's, dot all those I's. Dr. Scott will actually have a face-to-face, whether it be via FaceTime or phone call, to establish client-patient care before we even get there. Because in a city like Las Vegas, we're talking about not only the heat exhaustion, stuff like that. There may be drugs and alcohol involved in the situation. We need to make sure that what we're administering to this patient is safe, secure, everything.
Is this something you can get done through like an insurance company? Like when I call my insurance, I'm like, hey, I need an IV, and then get it delivered.
You're speaking our language of what we're looking at for the future.
Future down the road.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. So, careful what you ask for when you come to insurance companies, right?
Yeah.
So it's not always what it's cut out to be, but today it's all cash, but you can also use your HSA, so your health savings account through your business. That's where we are now. And there's some efficiencies in clean, even when you think cash flow wise, right? So you start talking insurance, you're talking reimbursement, right? You're now have the cash flow and go chase your money down. You're talking about they'll negotiate with you on the back end for certain services as well. So
that helps your accounts payable hands down if you're dealing with
So it's you got to be careful. We've looked into it. Other businesses have struggled, and it's put them under. Actually, opening them up to insurance and Medicaid and all these those
they're
types
waiting 30 days or 60 days or sometimes longer.
And the undercutting too, like you said, maybe they'll charge higher and they're going to negotiate. But I feel like just from a consumer perspective, I think it'd be great. But I think having from a business standpoint, it makes sense.
Yeah, you just got to think about that one is all.
I was curious for you guys, just kind of backing up a little bit. How much red tape did you guys have to go with from you kind of come up with this business plan, you kind of come up with this business idea? How long did it take you guys to get it across the finish line and get approved to be able to be up and running, having Vegas IV going?
That's him, man. He's fast.
Fast. We try to move quickly, but there's a process.
Whoa. Hold up a second. What are we doing?
Doing medical, you're dealing with so much red tape.
Fortunately,
and liability.
You are, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure you're insured. You're going through the state, right? Nevada, you're going to get incorporated. You're going to go through, the city as well, get licensed, get your DBAs registered. Make sure everyone's insured. We do background checks on all our medical staff as well. We require them to have their own individual policies, and we have our umbrella ones as well. So there's a bit of a process to get that going that could take, at least a couple months in some scenarios, right, to get that online and get going. But great thing is you're dealing with people that have their licenses and went through school and went through this process already, right? So we're not recruiting, brand new folks. These are nurses who do this every day, right? They're in doctors that are providing care every day. It's what they do.
Sure.
And for us, we're simply connecting people and patients who need it with them, in a way, you think a marketing service, right? Connecting and pairing folks. So they're the ones doing the real hard work.
Yeah. How do you guys find, as far as you guys have done a great job, word of mouth and getting that out there, but what do you guys do to promote and advertise? Is that something that's a big focus for you guys, or you guys kind of
it's always
partnerships and brand ambassadors?
Yeah, no, totally. It's a daily, I would say it's a daily hurdle, right? SEO and backlinks and Google and Yelp and Facebook ads. Google ads seem to do really well here. Christian's been on the forefront of that.
Yeah.
But we just like to be active in this town. Like if you're not out and about shaking hands and showing up, Christian always tells me that every time I'm in a public scenario, like I always meet someone that like I end up doing something with later.
Yeah.
And it's really beneficial. Some of the partnerships that we've landed so far have just been from Christian and myself just being us and people wanting to do business with us and wanting to set up partnerships and do deals. And so it's a daily hurdle. I don't know if you're familiar with SEO.
Yes, very much.
But it takes a long time. Yeah, it takes a long time to get it running, to pop up on the first page of Google, and with a name like Vegas IV, you can imagine all the things that pop up before Vegas IV with Vegas in it.
Yeah.
So nailing that down has been a tricky thing, but we feel confident in it.
Yeah, the internet's great. Google's great, but it's also expensive, right? So
extremely,
Google Ads.
We're
PPC
pumping
too.
it.
PPC is very expensive.
Very pricey, right? So from a conversion standpoint, based on where you're at in the auction and what you're bidding, from performance base and and how we set up our campaigns. That's special, but it's testament to Connor's, I think, his ability too, what he brings to the table from a BD standpoint, business development. He's great, right? So a lot of our key partnerships like Circa, the resort hotel that we're establishing as well, you know, is Connor, right? He's doing what he's been able to do from his relationships, and those are like business defining partnerships, right?
Those are big names.
And big deals, right? They take months and months to close and happen, but you think of what that it could be like, you know, people being able to order our services from their tablets.
Yeah, the room service menu. We're excited about that.
That's what we didn't talk about that because
I didn't know if we were going to drop the name yet, but
that's
I don't
what's
think
up,
that this
man.
won't
So
air
you
for a
actually
while,
have
right?
it in the.
We have it. Our attorneys are. It's pretty much said and done.
Smooth.
It's exciting.
Okay, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an exciting partnership for sure.
And we've done all like the billboards, the ads, you know, people passing out flyers. We've done a lot of the traditional, I think, you know, print or digital out of home advertising, radio spots, TV commercial spots. We've done a lot of that. Yeah. But I think these type of partnerships that Connor works on, these are the really big ones that really move the needle. And then you look a year or 2 years down the road, right, of that kind of work being put in, you're like, oh, we got some significant building blocks here.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. Like, is it the bulk of your customer base is at one-time clients? Like maybe somebody who stays at Circa for that random day and wants to go do it, or is it repeat residual clients?
Well, that's what's tricky, right? Because what do we call this? A 72-hour town?
Yeah.
People that are here for a week are nuts, right? If they're not local, like if they're out of towner and they're here for a week, like maybe they, you know, if there's
work.
Yeah, they should go home soon.
I'm laughing at you because I had a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say his name because you'll know.
It's hard to last that long.
No, he lasted a week and he was ready to go home after 4 days.
He needed an IV. He needed an IV. No, so that's something that's been tricky to find. Is like
penicillin shot. Yeah, for sure.
No, for sure. No, we're dealing with someone that's like, dude, they're here for 72 hours, then they're gone. They're back to Michigan or wherever the hell they're from. Yeah. And you know, this is a town where, you know, people come here. I would say majority of the United States probably comes here at least once every couple years. Yeah. You know, for a conference or something, or just for play. And so to really lock them down while they're here from an SEO point, Google ad point, it's like our ad may have popped up on their phone, but they're already on the flight home.
Yeah, that's a big point.
So
like,
it's
you think
tricky.
the cost per acquisition is like, it seems a bit hard to kind of define.
So finding people,
it's problematic.
They have to be here to be our customer, and that's what's cool about us expanding too. Is we can start doing it on a national scale
with the more stabilized like places like Scottsdale. Like it seems a lot more stable, less vacation,
much more local. Yeah.
You also think about the network effect, right? How many people are coming to Vegas from LA, right? So we launched it in Los Angeles IV. You have that network effect, as well as San Diego, Scottsdale, that we start to benefit from of establishing that relationship. Where now that cost per acquisition, right, or to get them to convert, we're paying that cost and we're losing them. They're going back to their home market. Yeah. Now we can hopefully maintain a relationship with these individuals. And then you start to think of how that plays into our tech play to maintain a relationship, right, as they go back as well. And to continue to work through that and then use that data and based on where people are based to decide where we go next, right? And then start to make a little bit more informed decisions. But a ton are in and out. But that's why the lifetime partnerships, these gyms, you know, Green Valley, you know, Summerlin is targeting residents, locals, those people that are consistent, getting like NAD plus, which is like the Fauna Youth.
I was gonna say, are you guys familiar with NAD? Because the NAD is more like a recurrent, like you actually physically have to do it once a month. At least
twice,
sometimes twice a month.
Wait a minute, is it
like
NAD
it's
like the end all be all to like aging.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah,
and it's a high end clientele that uses it. But if we, you know, locking down those subscription based type models, I think, you know, we have recurring people. I think we have one customer that's received like 15 IVs from us.
People get them a lot.
Yeah. You know, local guy that just calls us over once a week and just enjoys it. And, you know,
well, what's the recommendation?
We love that.
That's what I was going to ask. What is the recommendation? Is it something that, like you said, preventative and things like that? Like, let's say I'm heavy in the gym trying to really keep it going. What would that regimen be like?
It's based, I think it's also based on your lifestyle, right? Some people have medical conditions, right? Some are immunocompromised, some are recovering from addiction, right? So you have some cases where the doctors will make that recommendation based on an individual, say, hey, you know what, we can help you. There's some more care here. Me, if I'm getting sick, you know, I'm getting an immune boost. I'm getting a vitamin C thing. You know,
is there too many times you could do it? If I would call you out every single day, is that like crossing the line?
That might be aggressive.
I think you know, it's funny.
I was just curious if that's like a
I think the only one you can overdo is vitamin C. If I'm, and we don't like, I don't really like to touch on like the too much medical stuff because like without MD at the end of our names, we don't want to say anything that we shouldn't. But
Yeah, look, daily would be interesting. We'd have to connect you with the docs. We have yet to do that, but we have folks who've gone, twice a week, things like that. A couple here and there. I certainly have myself, and they work, and I feel better. So everyone's a little specific, though.
I gotta try. I'm afraid of needles. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's getting me hype. I definitely.
That's
need
my
this
hardest problem. I want to do it.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have asked you about. Like we had Revolt Tattoos, Joey Hamilton on, and I would love to get tattoos, but I'm afraid of needles. I got a phobia.
I have a couple.
I saw. I
have a couple.
But what's the way around that? Is it?
So we have a couple things.
Okay.
One, I think even if you have a fear of needles, a good nurse really changes that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what separates a good company from, like, if your nursing staff can't get it on the first, it's really important to us that we get it on the first try. I don't know if you've ever had someone poke you up in a hospital.
I can't stand it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Still
But
traumatized.
a really good nurse can pretty much make it painless. She can like throw that thing in there, like it'll just glide right in. And then we've also experimented. Well, we ordered them. Have we had anyone use them yet? Or painless IVs?
Yeah, so
that's what I need.
They're like
needle-less. Yeah, that's what I need.
Interesting concept. They actually don't have a needle. But
Really?
they'll make it into your vein.
Yeah, so we've looked into some other type of components and catheters and whatnot that could be less painful to try to address that. It's a thing, though. People that are scared of needles is a thing for us to deal with. So
that's me.
It is, but we're gonna give you one. Tonight's your night.
The nurse is pulling out.
I'll pass out.
Yeah, she's here.
Where my kids get their blood, I'm like losing. I'm crying with them. So
I hear you.
But, we should have all done. We all should have had an IV right now.
That would have been great.
You know what was so funny?
Why didn't we all do that?
My wife said that, and then I said I'll pass out on the podcast.
You will?
I'm not good with needles, man. I got a phobia.
Fun. My girlfriend can't handle it either. Almost passed out on Christian's couch one day just looking at it. Like,
can you do blood? Whatever. Like
I don't. I've been pushing off. I'm supposed to already have my physical in January. I keep pushing it off because I don't want to do the blood.
What about surgery? Could you be in an ER, like an open heart surgery?
Probably not.
I can't do it either.
Probably not.
I can't do surgeries.
I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to stuff. I did. It's funny when you say that. I'll just back up a little bit. I lived in the East Coast for a long time, so I did an internship at Tufts Medical for about 3 years. Okay. And I just realized I'm not built for
3 years?
Couldn't do it?
I did it from
3 months.
I tried it because I was really trying to get through it, and I was like, I think I want to do this, but I was like, I'm not built for this.
How many times did you throw up?
When we went to the anatomy lab and you start seeing that and you smelling everything, I had to keep leaving and taking breaks. I was ready to. I couldn't do it. I wasn't built for it.
Oh,
so
man.
I know what I'm good at, and that wasn't that.
I've done something like that before. Like a decade ago, and I could still smell it to this day.
It's
what
ridiculous.
it smelled like. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Not for me either.
For you guys, for business advice, right? With us being a business podcast, what's some business advice you could give or a nugget for some of our listeners that somebody like we were talking about earlier is maybe they want to get in business for themselves or they want to have a side hustle like we were talking about. What would you share with them?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. One that I'm personally really curious of developing and really learning is how to take advantage of state and federal or county grants to support your business as a small business owner, a minority. They've got opportunity zones, right? That things that you could participate if you're running a business in a particular zone that provides tax sheltering or incentives, which then you can use with investors, right? That are interested in those type of things. And not just SBA, right? You think of SBA financing and some of these other things, but there's a lot of programs out there and I'm not good enough with this. Yeah. So I'm mentioning it as a kind of an opportunity to say, let's all look into it. But I think there's capital out there, and I think there's access to financing, there's reasonable debt, right? Reasonable rates that you can get that you may not have to have perfect credit for, right? When you think of small business, they want you to put up collateral and whatnot, but and have these business plans. But there's other programs out there that I challenge people to look into.
That's great knowledge.
We should find somebody that can come and talk about. That's a great.
Yeah. I have not heard that yet, Christian. So I'm glad you shared that. That's a good nugget.
Is that kind of like with what you kind of got that idea from what you're? I mean, why don't you tell them what you're currently doing?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about that?
Kind of put you on the spot.
I'm always trying to disclose stuff.
Yeah.
So look, one of the things. This isn't about me.
Yeah.
So
he's smooth, man. He gave you props. I know he was trying to give you. He was trying to give you.
I was trying to give you a nugget.
Yeah. I saw.
He's a true good friend and a good partner. So I go down this process because I'm interested in getting more involved. Right? We talk about business operators. It's do the work. Right? Show up and get to work. Like get working. So many people get paralyzed, like paralysis by analysis. They'll want things to be perfect. And
that's me.
Is that right, Chris? I say the best thing is to get started. Right? Dive in. spend your time to put some things down on paper and try to make informed decisions, but get to work, because there's only so much you can plan for them until you get in it, and then you're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
And part of that process is I've decided to want to step up myself as well when it comes to politics, right, and getting involved. There's not enough people that are here as well. So you look at we're not going to officially announce it. We're not going to officially announce it.
But even on the podcast, you say it right now.
Turn the cameras off.
No one's listening. We're going to get involved, right? In 2024, I'm going to run, most likely, find a way to support, right? And that, might end up being at the Senate level with the state. But part of that process is,
that's great.
Thank you. But part of that process is looking into things like this, right? What tools and resources are out there, right? To help people, and what we can do, because it drives the state forward, right? Small businesses, the bedrock of, our economy, right? Capitalist free market republic system. And I'm a big fan. And there's access to things out there. We just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's shocking to me. Like, as I look through information. So,
Chris, I'm so happy you said that, because that's why Chris and I started Vegas Circle. Was we felt that the culture and everything that was here there was a piece missing, and we wanted to give business owners the opportunities, particularly small business owners, to share what they're doing, because the Strip, as you guys know, sucks up a lot of stuff, and a lot of the big business sucks it up. So we were looking at how can we be the platform for that. And that's why we did it. So I'm so happy you brought that up.
I love that. There's look, 40 million people coming in and out of the Strip, but there's a huge, thriving community around here, right? A ton of us. You've built businesses and supported people around here.
Yeah,
as well.
I was going to answer that question.
Yeah, I want to hear your perspective on business advice. Yeah.
I feel like I've always been a sales guy, and one, because it's this huge generator of, liquidity and cash flow and stuff like that. But what I really enjoy doing is like building brands, and then to meet someone like Christian, hear like-minded views and stuff like that. I mean, he's a tech guy. He's behind his computer. And like, I'm out in the world and I'm shaking hands and I'm taking, in-person meetings. And this guy won't meet with you unless it's over Zoom.
That's our relationship. Literally, that's me and Chris. Everything you just said, that's me and Chris.
And what's funny is like, we've rubbed off on each other in such a good way too. It's like, I'll be like, I'll tell him I'm outside his house and he's got to get in my car. We're going to go do something
that's
social.
That's why I got here tonight.
And then he, helps me with like systems and back end and, all these types of things, like from a tech standpoint, that like he makes fun of me. He says I don't know how to make a spreadsheet, which is absolutely false. I know how to make a spreadsheet, but a little technical, not as savvy. As Christian's background, and I think it's cool. Like when you find other like-minded people, like your partner in business should never be someone that's just like you. Mm-hmm. You should be polar opposites. I agree. Because like whatever I'm bringing to the table, Christian doesn't bring to the table, and everything he brings to the table, I don't. And I think when you like meet other like-minded individuals that like have that same vision, but just they think of doing it a different way than you do. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would say. And to the people that, in entrepreneurship, I see on your podcast, these little gems. Yeah. I just think you just got to like put one foot in front of the other. Like when I was skeptical about, starting this business with Christian, he was like, dude, shut up. Like, let's just do this. Like, let's, what do we have to lose? Like, no one's going to outwork us. No one's going to outmarket us. And we're just going to out-hustle this entire community. And sure enough, we have. Yeah. I just think that's cool. Like, don't be afraid to take the leap.
Yeah, there's no shortage. When you think about small business operators, there's not necessarily a shortage of opportunities, of clients and business to be won, right? So you think about it like, oh, there's all this competition. There's only the fraction of the market share, trually, unless you're trying to start a casino,
what
right?
They call it, the blue ocean mindset or whatever. I forget the term that they call it. And everybody gets caught up in this little hole instead of realizing the ocean is vast.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think it's blue ocean.
But you said a key word is outworking people.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key. Yeah. It's funny. I've been on this big kick of really listening to motivational things. And I've been listening to Kobe again a lot. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing he was doing is working out 3 times.
Yeah, when he explains how if he wakes up an hour before you, in the morning, and we went to the, we were at the gym, yesterday morning at Lifetime, at like 6 a.m, and I made a comment to Christian, and I said, the cars in the parking lot are way nicer at 6 a.m. Like, it's like the cars are beautiful in the parking lot at 6 a.m. But you go, like, you see the 11 a.m., 12 a.m. crowd. Yeah. It's like, it's,
That's a good point.
It's a good point, right? And you're like, okay, these are the guys that are waking up early, that are hustling. And that doesn't, I failed to mention that still means that me and Christian are, 3 a.m. phone calls. And like, we're still thinking of new ideas and how we can expand, like, in all hours of the night, and we're still hustling. So outworking people, I mean, this city's asleep a lot too. We're talking about a nighttime city.
Yeah.
You know, these guys that work in that industry, like they're not up until, 2 in the afternoon because they worked all night. So it's like we're light years ahead in business.
And then you think of that compounds, right, daily. So you think about outworking and taking those steps every single day, right? And you're just like hitting it every day, you're getting after it. And leadership and entrepreneurship of being the founder or the boss or CEO, it's not rainbows and sunshine. It's a burden. It's a responsibility.
It's work, yeah.
You know, not just to yourself, your family, right, but your team and the people that have come aboard for that journey. You know, and that is a real big deal. And if that doesn't drive you, then you got to really think through it if you're about that life, because that holds me accountable every day, right? It's like you've got people that count on you that you have to show up for, and you have to be there getting after it. And that's just an absolute. So, you know, it's not for everybody, you know.
No, I love it, man. I love your guys' mindset, man. There's got to be a reason. Vegas Circle, Vegas IV. I got some of the similar mindsets, which is great. I got one quick question. We'll pivot a little bit. Favorite restaurant from each one of you guys in Vegas?
Oh man.
You
know what I'm going to say.
Give me one gem.
You know what I'm going to say, and I feel like it's so cliche. And,
Okay.
Sorry to everyone. Sorry to everyone that's watching. I'm a Carbone guy. Italian is the best cuisine in the world.
Yeah.
And I'll have that argument with anyone at any time. Italian food is the best food.
I think I was Italian in another life, man. I love Italian food.
I love Carbone. I love the vibe at Carbone, but I also like Cipriani at the Wynn.
I have not been to Cipriani yet.
I will set you up over there.
Nick Dosa brought that up. Cipriani is very good.
It's like Christian's seen it. They treat me like I'm like part of the family over there, and it's just like there's no better service in town.
So you heard that, Cipriani. You heard that. So
okay. They take really good care of him.
Carbone is
so many lunch meetings over there. Connor loves that spot.
Yeah. I love it.
I
like the way they treat me over there. Yeah. You know, they treat me good over there.
I heard that.
I think that's worth it.
Great service, both of those spots. Yeah.
I think that's what it boils down to me. I think for me, it's the experience and the service. You know, at the end of the day, that's the number one thing to me is like, how are you treating somebody, especially at a place like Vegas, right? That feels very much so like the haves and the have-nots, you know, based on.
And if you're going to pay, you want to get the service. Cipriani is pricey dollar. Carbone is a good pricey dollar too. So
Well, we like to eat good.
Yeah.
Try to. And it doesn't even, you know, sometimes it could be some other spots too. Sometimes it could be some food trucks that are dope or hole in the wall spots. But, you know, people that I think are local small business owners that are great, that treat you well, that appreciate you, learn your name. You're big on that. Yeah. People know when you come in, you know.
I like to be at local places. Like my dry cleaner, they know who I am. You know, they know everyone knows me by first name at my regular places. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that relationship.
Yeah,
you know?
Would you say that's yours too then? Cipriani and
he doesn't get out much, man. Okay. I don't even know if this guy goes out.
I couldn't authentically tell you give some names to tell you that like, yeah, this is my favorites. But I could tell you the ones that don't have that service point on point. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go there.
I got you.
So,
I got you. Yeah,
but I've been
those
to
two gyms. Yes, those two.
I think best off strip is Cleaver. You guys ever been to Cleaver? Best off strip restaurant in town. Yeah.
You know, I've been to Cleaver. I'm disappointed I have not been to Herbs and Rye. That's the
really?
one I've never been to Herbs and Rye.
Yeah.
That's their other.
That
was on Sahara, right? Down Sahara.
Yes, and it's open late too. I heard it's really
open
good
late.
Spot.
But Cleaver's still doing ever since the pandemic. Every steak's like 50% off.
Yeah, their happy hours like
they never ended it. They never ended it.
I'm going to Cleaver soon. Then
yeah, you can get a $200 steak for $100. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys have that one sushi pot that's like off the strip. That's like no sign on the wall. It's like a little shopping mall. It's like really small spot, reservations only during dinner slots.
Oh, is it Sushi Roku?
No, it's Sushi Kame.
Sushi Kame.
Is it Kame on Spring Mountain?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
Like Omakase? Yeah, I used to live in the building above it. When I first moved
haven't heard of that one yet.
I think I've heard of Roku too.
Roku I've been to.
Roku's on Sunset in LA too. I think there's a Roku there.
Yeah, they have two here.
We have too many Nobus in town. I think we have 6 in Vegas.
Vegas is starting to be a hub for restaurants.
Oh
yeah, it's
we got
awesome.
it. That's what we love about entertainment. If we want a night out, you want to go have that special night out, you can, or we stay off the strip and we just do.
Yeah, where are we going tonight? We were going to go to dinner tonight.
Circle is Postmating and sushi.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nobu's on the way.
There you go. That's love, man. Shout out to them. What else are you guys concentrating on for 2023? Is it expanding to different markets, like you mentioned? I don't know if we could share what we were talking about earlier, but what other markets are you guys looking at?
We're expanding to other markets. I think taking it to another level of not being branded as just IVs.
Okay.
other health stuff that we have in our Rolodex that we plan on rolling out on the medical side that will, multiple things that we could get a consumer versus just an IV.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting thing on a tech play.
You'll see us over 10 major markets by the end of the year. You'll see our tech that's rolled out that's supporting and onboarding users as well.
Okay.
And you'll see us to have a much more expansive offering supporting patients throughout the country.
Excellent.
Is it hard to get into other markets? And circle back and we're finishing up. But is it hard to go into other markets without having that direct oversight over those markets? Because you can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Every market we expand to is driven by a core operator. So our medical directors, thanks to Scott Scherr and his access, because he's built a 20+ year career in the space. He's got medical professionals around the country that run facilities, and they're also entrepreneurial. So they're
that knowledge, that's awesome.
And the relationships. Having the right operators in each local market that buy in to our business as well. So
and then we snag nurses from nurses that they've worked with for the past 10 years and bring them on board. And it's really because of the medical directors that we're able to expand at such a fast rate.
In the hospitals and all the other stuff you're dealing with, so it makes sense that
and we dealt with all the
board.
problems internally, externally. Like we crawled a little bit in Vegas, and then now we're starting to walk and run a little bit, and we're happy for that experience because now it's like the process is just streamlined to be like, hey, we can open anywhere. Even international, we're talking
it's a
about
mobile company.
we're even talking about South America, Mexico potentially.
It's system building, right? So you talk about entrepreneurs, right? It's building systems which then allow you to scale, and then you get this economy of scale effect that happens because we support these markets at the national level with our core team that have all the learning and knowledge that we've invested in, support these local markets, but the core services are being offered at the national level. Then we're able to expand really quickly, drive our valuation, bringing in new investors, new markets, new clients. So launching there is one thing. But choosing to win at a high level, we'll have to come back and prove that out. We got to earn it.
Definitely invite you guys back.
But
it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys come on. I'm really happy we had you guys come on and be able to share. And we're rooting for you when you announce that you're running. So we got to see that make that happen, man. But no, we appreciate you guys.
We still don't know if he's going to or not.
No, he's going to. I saw your face. Your body language said everything. He was about to punch you. So where can people? What's your guys' social handles? Everybody can reach out to you guys at. What's Vegas IV?
Oh man, people make fun of me about mine. They say I've been in Las Vegas too long. Mine's still LA Connor. Okay. And they think that people think that I've earned LV Connor, but I don't know if I want to switch. Then I want to switch it yet.
Did you get that handle yet? I'm gonna grab that handle as soon as we walk out.
So I have a buddy that lives in LA now that is LV's finest. Shout out LV's finest. What's up, buddy? We were thinking about switching Instagram handles.
That's hilarious.
It'd be funny. But mine's LA Connor with 3 R's. Too
funny. You guys can find us at Vegas IV on our Instagram, VegasIV.com. That's our naming convention for every city: Los Angeles IV, SD IV, Scottsdale IV. And then I'm Christian Bishop on Instagram.
He's got a blue check. No big deal.
He's
super humble, right? If I had a blue check, I would be like sitting up, walking taller.
You're too funny. Too funny.
You guys are a great partnership, man. I'm honestly, we're rooting for you guys, man. We'll have you guys come back, man, and especially when you're rolling out a lot of the tech stuff, man. We got some things we'll talk offline with, but you can definitely check us out at VegasSir.com. We appreciate you guys, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having us, man.
That was really good, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.